Hey, Michael, how you doing? How's it going? Did you check out West Branch any today? Good for you. I think you'd really love living up there. Just got done trimming some branches off these trees that stick out where I cut grass. Hey, Samka, how you doing? Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Got quite a bit of work done today. It was only like 84 or something, but man, the humidity was high. Simca, they have many of those log homes up there around you, the e-log homes? Yeah, it's big time humid. You don't really notice it until you start exerting yourself. Hey, Stephen, how are you? Oh, good. You have a good time up there. Yeah, I think you'd really like it, Michael. Is your buddy living in town or outside the outskirts? Yeah, yeah, I know a lot about it up there. Okay, cool. Yeah, West Branch is a large mailing address, so you could be a long ways from downtown, but it's a good quality of life. Oh, cool, Simka. Yeah, I'm getting my floor plan. As much as I'd like to have a house right in the middle of the woods, with trees right up to the door, if you read about that or if you talk to somebody in construction, they'll tell you do not have any vegetation other than maybe some bushes or something like that out around where it can touch your house. It'll lead to nothing but trouble. That's trees, particularly. Have a cleared area or you will regret it over time. The winters have been nothing. I would say I would have stayed in Michigan if the winters would have stayed the same, but I lived up there 10 years, but I've been going up there since 78, and the winters are nothing up there anymore. You can research this and find out yourself. You don't really hit the snow belt till you get up around Gaylord, which is 90 miles to the north. Oh, okay, Simka. Oh, that's cool. Did you get a notice or did you just happen to be on? Hey, Mark, how you doing? How's it going? Yeah, I don't really care to be honest with you, but like I said, once they quit promoting you, that's the kind of stuff you can expect. Good, Mark. Hey, Mark, are you in the process of moving now or not? Pretty good, doing pretty good, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yep. Yeah, it happened to me earlier today. It doesn't matter. I mean, I always thought, who comes on, comes on. Doesn't matter to me, really. I gotta take a shower. Oh, you have again? Hey, Richard, how are you? Oh, thank you, Richard. Michael. So when you get a notice, does it pop up? Or is it something you have to click on to see what they're talking about? Oh, good luck, Mark. The market's starting to get a little, it's still crazy, but it's softening up a little in the United States. I don't know what's going on in Canada. Yeah, good people. Yeah, it takes a long time to get a chat where you don't have a bunch of troublemakers and people with multiple IDs and that kind of thing. Believe me, I've been down the road with that. A lot of good people come on the chat. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Daisy gets her stitches out tomorrow. I figured out the pickup truck. It went by today and I followed it. I know who it is, actually. I met him when I first moved down here. Yeah, I think so, Simka. I think she is, yep. How's your dog doing, by the way? I'm not really sure on that yet. Because I wasn't sure. I'm not really sure. Really, part of the problems I'm not really sure is I never have a good phone signal. So when I scroll through there, it buffers and stuff. I'm waiting to get on a laptop, to tell you the truth. Oh, good. There is a guy, this white stone that you see in the driveway, it also got put on both sides of the bridge. And that got delivered about, maybe 90 days ago by a guy. And anyway, long story short, he was only 37. He got COVID and died last week. He didn't have the shots. Yeah, it is, Simka. Hey, Richard, how you doing? I actually clicked on and watched a little bit of one of Maddie's lives today. I feel so bad for her. I mean, I know there's nothing that can be done. There probably is, but I don't know what it is. But I mean, I think I've known her about 3.5 years or something now. It's just I'm losing hope. Yeah, I think the same thing too. Just lost and addicted. It's just God, man. It just goes to show you. Well, you know all about it. Yeah, I know. Mark, did you find a home for that piano yet? Sure was getting dark earlier. Hey, Simca, block this moron, will you? Yeah, thank you. Good job, Rita. Yeah, they are, yep. Good job, Rita. Yeah, you're right about that. Oh, okay. I heard of like a car coming down the road today, and then it hit gravel, which meant that it would have been the other farm to the south. Then I heard it sounded like a dog screaming to me. So I went and looked, but I didn't see anything. And then it kind of went away, so it might not have been a dog screaming. I don't know what it was, but thought I'd check it out. And other than that, it's kind of like a slow day today. Yeah, Miranda's doing well, actually. She met a guy, and they're living together in Lincoln Park, last I knew. Now, that's been quite a while, but no news is good news, so I'm assuming they're still together. Yeah, that's a good idea, Facebook Marketplace. That'd be good. Now, I don't think her sister Melinda suffered the same better fate, I guess I would say. I think she was still in and out of different things that she was trying to get out of permanently. Yeah, Miranda was a sweetheart. Really good person. Both those girls were raised by foster parents that abused the hell out of both of them. I mean, here you get shipped to foster parents, and then you happen to get in with a couple of weirdos that treat you bad, which was the reason you were going to foster care to begin with, just like the double whammy. Oh, that's good, Mark. Did Bimbo get better over a cold? Yeah, it's a good question on Toro. You know, I talked to people out down there and they haven't seen, and that's changed a lot down there, although quite a bit of times went by, too. Michigan Avenue is just not like it was before. Ricky Bobby, too, I wonder about, too. Yeah, it's crazy you could survive down there. You know, Becky was getting evicted. That would have been about a month or 6 weeks ago. I cringed when I looked at her Facebook the other day, just hoping things hadn't changed. I don't really know what's going on there. And Tassie, there's somebody out there using a fake Tassie moniker and even phone number. So I don't know what she's up to either. Yeah, hard to say, Rita. I just don't know, you know. He was a good guy, actually. Yeah, Trapper John, he was a good guy, too. You know, his mother was a doctor, supposedly. I mean, and this makes sense if you're an active addict. He had went through his inheritance, which is, you know, one of the reasons he was down there. He seemed to be improving, but, looking back now, which is 2020, right? It's easy to do. It was just such a low amount of people that actually improved. I mean, I learned a lot. I mean, if I had to do it all over again, I'm not sad for any of the things that I did, I wish there would have been a better outcome, but I know a lot more now than I did then, so if I do it again, I'll take a different approach. Yeah, I think, it was actually Tassie's aunt that she referred to as her mother, and once she died, I think things got a lot worse, although there were just seemed to be temporary reprieves where she'd be doing pretty well for a while. And I don't know what she's up to. Oh, thank you, Delbert. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think I did the bare minimum. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'd never been exposed to that before, but I don't know what I'd have done differently, you know. Maybe they will. I mean, I don't think any of them had a problem with me, except maybe Kelly and, you know, stuff that people told her, but I don't know. Looking back, I'm really, like I said all along, there's really no evidence that there were any misdeeds. So I would be curious how they, if you go on to like a Facebook of somebody that I've interviewed, you'll see their friends usually are pretty much all the girls that I ever interviewed. And you can kind of get an idea of what they're up to now. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I think Detroit, I hate to say it and I hope I'm wrong, but other than a few buildings they're trying to finish now, I think Detroit's comeback is a misnomer. I don't really see that. I don't really see it coming back like people'd like to see it come back. Oh, thanks, Delbert. Yeah, that was his name. What was it? Kevin. That was Kevin. Yeah, he had myocarditis or endocarditis. I'm not really sure. Maybe he had endocarditis. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what he's up to. Yeah, Angel was a sweetheart. I mean, you know, if you listen to her interview, uh, being a smart person. I mean, you know how it is. All it takes is addiction to take everything away from you. It's not like everybody that gets addicted that has a low IQ. She would have been good at a lot of things. It's just the way the cards were laid out, and young, stressful, inappropriate relationship she had as a young girl. It just kind of took off from there. Things never really got better. Yeah, Allie eventually died from kidney failure, but she was living with her brother and really in Indiana and went back to see her mother, so she did get to do that. But she eventually, the end cause was kidney failure. Yeah. Yeah, I liked Allie too. I mean, if you go back and you look at the old interviews, there's a lot of them that died between stuff like that, overdoses, hit by cars. I mean, jeez. Yeah, most of them had a really good sense of humor. Sure did. Yep. Even Maddie has the skills to do a lot of things. It just, you know, I think it's just a combination, like a perfect storm in a wrong way. It's your brain, your environment. It's, you know, it's like anything. There's a lot of ways to get there. Yeah, I get that way too. I don't even watch the videos. Sometimes, like, I'd like to go back and like listen to an interview, but if they died, I don't want to do it. Just something weird about, you know, prior to YouTube, other than a TV show, somebody died, that was it. I mean, you knew about it and you maybe read something about it. You could go back and reference that, but like go back and listening to people talk when they were alive and you're thinking in the back of your mind while you're watching it that they're dead now, it's like not a good feeling. You know, I never heard from her, Rita. No, she would send me like a happy birthday or something because I had a Facebook account. She seems to be doing well. I do look on her Facebook once in a while. But I never communicated with her. No, she makes references and puts links to the videos about when I interviewed her. But no, I've not talked to her. She's living in a suburb, working a full-time job. You know, her and Jason had a baby. But I mean, she seems to be doing pretty good. Good job, Rita. So I wish the best for Amanda. I mean, when you look at where she was and where she is now, it's like, my God. That's how it is with me. I don't know how Ebony's doing. I haven't talked to her in a long time. Once in a while, I used to hear from her mother, and her mother used to send me nice emails thanking me for trying to help her daughter. I think the mom's a nurse. But good question. Ebony got pregnant there about the last time I saw her, and, I'd still been going down there and talk to people. No one I know knows what Ebony's up to. So it's a good question. Like I said, more often than not, no news is good news, but I don't know what she's doing. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter now, but I mean, there's a number of these people that were HIV positive that, it's not my business to tell anybody. I got enough problems. Really, it's not anybody's business, but Allie was HIV positive, and that was kind of the beginning to the end that she had with other health issues, but I think that's what eventually caused her kidney failure. The government will pay for people if you're on Medicaid. It used to be, and I haven't checked on this in a few years, about $6,000 a month. But here's the thing on that. And Allie would have been eligible for that. But it's quite a regimen. It's not like you pop a pill once a day and everything's fine. It's a series of pills, which is kind of like a structured discipline. So even though these drugs are available to people and they can get them, it's quite a regime to follow. And like in Angel's case or in Allie's case, I mean, I can't say this for sure, but Angel never admitted it to me. Neither did Allie. People that I know that we've never discussed it, that are still alive, that's just not something they're interested in doing. It's too much responsibility, and it's almost like they're secretly and silently just falling apart by not doing the typical medical protocol. It's just, they don't want to mess with it, the appointments, and if they die, they die. I know it sounds terrible. Yeah, Lacey's a sweetheart too. A lot of things that people don't understand about HIV is even if you're in check with HIV, I mean, you can actually test negative. Just by virtue of being HIV positive, you're susceptible to all sorts of other diseases at a way higher risk level than you would be if you weren't HIV positive. I mean, I wish the best for everybody, but even if you're in check and you're testing negative, you're still way off, particularly different kinds of cancers. You're still way better not having it. Yeah, right, Rita. Oh, yeah, that's too bad, Stacy. Yeah, I mean, it's not my business, but, the video that I watched, Gerald happened to be in it, and something seems a little off with Gerald. I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know whether it's like drug psychosis or he's just not the old happy Gerald, happy-go-lucky Gerald that I knew. But, quite a bit of water's over the dam now, so who knows what's going on. But yeah, malnutrition. Hey, Pug, how you doing? Yeah, malnutrition. You're probably right. Now, somebody had told me one time that, knew Maddie when she was younger, that I don't know if it was somebody in her family, her mother or father, has spent a lot of money on dental care for her, like braces and stuff when she was younger. So, yeah, it's, I mean, same with Becky. I mean, Raven, you could just go on and on. Hey, Tammy, how are you? I just, you'd think after doing that I don't know what I'd do different now than I did then. Other than, maybe not give them money sometimes. And I base this all on the results, but I guess I was just being naive, you know what I mean? Yeah, Pug, how you doing? So, I will get back to interviewing one of these days. But I mean, honestly, I don't know if it'll be like the kind of stuff how you guys got to know me, because I just like met him, thought maybe I could help him out a little bit. It seemed like that for a couple of years, but looking back, it really didn't do much. And just the notion of going out and interviewing people and pretending that they're going to get better when from what I just got done experiencing, they're not. Just kind of seems like disingenuous. You know what I mean? It just seems like too YouTube-ish. Like you're going to go out there and like do these interviews and get these views and stuff when in your heart of hearts that all it is a person that's slowly dying. Yeah, I know, Delbert, I never really got that vibe with Gerald. I mean, if you ask me now, I'd still say that Maddie's better off with Gerald than without him. I really think that. Yeah, they lie about getting help. That's exactly right. Yeah, they do. Well, you got to keep the money coming in, right? And part of that involves hoodwinking people with good intentions, trying to help you get better. It's just the way it is. Yeah, but even the handing out food, I look back and learned a lot. And I'll give you an example, like Maddie and Gerald, that FDDR food truck that goes around. They claim that they need food, but you'd never see them at the FDDR food truck. And that place goes right by where they live. So they're just one of a bunch of examples. So take food off the chart. Now, maybe during the height of COVID, I would be with you. Some of the churches weren't doing the programs anymore. It was difficult to get food. But now there's food all over if you want to get it. Same with clothes. Same with medical care. So when it comes down to it, going down there, you're not really bringing them anything that they don't have access to someplace else. They used to send a lot of gift cards and cash, but I know, I learned that the hard way too. I'm not saying all the time, but some of the time, gift cards get sold for 50% of what they're worth. Yeah. And the clothes, I'd find clothes that I gave out, or I'd hear about it later. They'd be in bandos and they never even wore them and that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that nobody didn't wear the clothes. I'm just saying that overall, there were a lot of people with good intentions, and me included. It didn't really garner the kind of response I was hoping for. I mean, you'd think that even if you were an active drug addict, you'd still like some food or some clothes or some toothpaste or something like that. But the answer to that is not really. They'll act like they do because that's one of the small irons they still had in the fire with regard to making you feel like they're a part of their sobriety. But I found that in my experience that the vast majority of that was just fraud. It's not true. Yeah. I don't know. And some of these women out there, they just keep having these babies, and they give them up. They've had like 5 and 6 babies with different guys, customers, and they just get given up. And I got my limits in how much of this stuff I could take. And I can understand getting pregnant accidentally once, maybe twice. Really shouldn't. It happens, not just in the world of addiction. But when you start finding out about these people doing that for a living, having unprotected sex, bringing a child in this world at ridiculous expense to the taxpayers, and then just giving it up to some stranger because you got pregnant, that gets old really quick. Yeah, that was at 6 Mile, Gary. 6 Mile and John R. Yeah, what was her name? Tia Revlon. Yeah, Tia Revlon, yep. You're right, Simka. Yeah, I got burnout from helping, and I've run into a lot of other people do. I just don't. I just don't. I mean, I loved interviewing people, but I just think I'll do it differently next time. Yeah, Stacy. Yeah, yeah, I know you get in dysfunctional relationships, but anybody can get in one of those, whether it's in the midst of an active addiction or not. Yeah, I just think honestly, I think I'd just rather put my efforts into something happier, better. Just get burned out, like doing it, and, like bad things happening, or getting killed. And, I mean, I'm at the point now where it doesn't really make a lot of sense to just go to a place where there's streetwalkers that are addicted to drugs and just interviewing them. Now, I could say, yeah, this is interesting, and it is interesting. I like it. But if there isn't an element of like some good coming out of it, I just think it's fraud. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know what good can come out of doing that other than a bunch of people watch it. They all say that's terrible. You give them a couple of cans of soup, and then they get hit by a car, murdered, or never go to rehab. I mean, there's just something not quite right with just interviewing a person that in your heart and heart probably isn't going to get better. I mean, I'd just rather do something else. Yeah, sometimes they ask for more, yeah. Yeah, you're probably right, Rita. Yeah, she works YouTube. No, I agree with you, Delbert. No, I would agree with that, yeah. I mean, drug addicts need money. And there's an article, there's an argument for if the money that was sent Maddie kept her from getting into a stranger's car throughout the weeks and months, is that better? I would say, yeah, it probably is. Good job, Rita. Nice job, Penny. No, I never had that happen, Gary. No, they never did. No. No, there was never any talk about that stuff. It was just like a different role, and I never gave off that vibe. No, not really. Yeah. No, they never, it was like different, you know what I mean? Now, Amanda, the one that got beat up, she started to be doing well. I heard Coco's doing well. I still have her diary. I'd like to get back to her. If anybody out there talks to Coco or is in touch with her, give her my email. I'd send it to her. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I tried to help Sharon, but when I catch on to someone doing something like scamming or ripping people off, I cut ties with them right away. Or, these drama people too, I cut ties with them too. I tell them, I don't want you calling me, texting me. I don't return emails. I want nothing to do with them. These people going on there and making these damn videos about what Maddie looks like and calling them ghetto and stuff, and there's something seriously wrong with them. And I'll tell you another thing too. I've been contacted by some of these people because I'm still a licensed private detective in Michigan, and I've given them all the information they need to know on filing a stalking report. If you're not a licensed private detective, you have absolutely no business following somebody around like they did with Tiffany H. and taking photos of her husband and uploading them on a YouTube channel. And the same thing goes for Maddie and Gerald. That is against the law. So I hope they follow up on it. Yeah, I mean, it's just, how can you, I mean, I think it's bad enough interviewing people if, in your experience like mine, they didn't get better, let alone going on and talking about their looks and their thumb and their teeth. I mean, what in the hell is wrong with these people? Oh, good, Stacy. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Cynthia. Yeah. I mean, and like, I always said, I mean, who raised their hand as a young person wanting to be an active addict? Who wants to grow up to be a drug addicted prostitute walking the streets of Detroit? Nobody. It's a shitty life. I mean, my attitude when I first went into it was just by virtue of that you're here soliciting men and you're addicted to drugs. That's good enough for me. You don't need to sell me on anything. I mean, and that was interesting to me. Like, how did you get here? I mean, is there a chance you want to get out? Remember Kelly from Monroe? I mean, they do in a figurative way want to get out. They have fantasies of getting out. But man, when you get in the throes of that kind of lifestyle, it's so much easier to stay in it than it is to get out. Yeah, who was the panhandling guy that made $40 a day? I'm not sure which one that is. Yeah, I don't remember which guy that would be. Well, I tell you, I think that's a possibility. I mean, I've been told by a couple of people that there's been incidents where Gerald was a nice looking guy, and there were women that wanted to hook up with Gerald, and it doesn't matter that you're in Maddie's position. I don't think jealousy goes away, so I can understand why there may be incidents where she felt uncomfortable and threatened that he may leave her. I mean, I don't know this for sure, but I know a couple people have mentioned it to me in the past, so I think it's a real issue sometimes. Yeah, I get. I don't really get Sharon. I mean, I smelled a fish there early on, and which is why I cut her off. And if you look at the early videos compared to the ones that she does now, yeah, I mean, there's something really off there. Yeah, I think you're right, David. It controls her mind. Hey, Mary, how you doing? But I mean, I think if you look at these channels, you can. It's pretty clear that they're interested in one thing, that's views and subscribers, and they'll do anything to get it. And if they think it's tagging somebody's name in their title, they'll do it because they're too dumb to come up with any content of their own. They could never produce anything on their own that somebody would want to watch, so they have to go and make fun of what people look like and health issues they have and financial situations and so on, and basically stalk them in an attempt to get people to watch. Oh, good, Mary. I'm a 100% believer in karma. I really believe it. I do. The only issue I have with it is the timetable. Sometimes it takes so long for wrongs to be made right, but I would not want to be Sharon, I can tell you that. This is all going to catch up to her in a very bad way someday. Yeah, I think they will too. That's the thing about YouTube, I'm so turned off on YouTube now, it's ridiculous. That they would allow a platform like that. I was looking today, I think they made $29 billion last year on YouTube. But that a channel would allow, a server would allow somebody to do that kind of crap. No, yeah, you're right about that, Simca. Yeah, no, that's it. It's true. Yep. Yep. So it will. I do believe it'll catch up to these people. I mean, uh, they paint themselves into a corner. But there's enough kooks out there that, what's surprising to me is the amount of kooks out there that involves themselves in this stuff, that become a part of it and that moderate on these channels and that make up these fake names. And I mean, these are adults. Yeah, I'll never be back in Detroit interviewing again. Yeah, I won't be. I don't live there anymore. I had quit going down there anyway for about a year and a half before I left. It changed a lot. It got dangerous. I was too recognized. So no, I will not be going to Detroit again interviewing girls. The last trip I made was about 2 months ago, where I interviewed Maddie and Gerald, and I knew at that time that was probably going to be my last time in Detroit. Yeah, and that was close to the first interview I did with Angel. I mean, the funny thing about that, I've mentioned this 1,000 times, so for the people that have heard it 1,000 times, I'm sorry, but those videos that ended up going viral, which I could care less about, to be honest with you, they sat around for a long time and nobody watched them. I mean, for a long time, the interview with Angel, the first interview, had like 100 views. I was fine with it. I mean, like I said, I never really had any plan on like building a channel and like taking it someplace, And YouTube's changed everything anyway. They used to promote those videos, when they went viral. You will never see another interview with a drug-addicted prostitute go viral again, I'll bet you. Because they got that all canned in now through their IT people and tags, and they know where to send the traffic and where not to. I mean, I'm sure I've been taken out of the algorithm with getting notices about people knowing that I'm coming on with a chat. Sometimes they do, most times they don't. My videos don't get recommended now because they're basically dated. Now, that wouldn't have happened, but as time went on and things changed, I did less interviews. But YouTube can make or break you. When you get on their shit list, it's pretty much curtains, as it is for me. But that's okay. It's been a hobby from day one, live and die by the sword. Daisy's good. I'm taking her to get her stitches out tomorrow. I haven't. I've been down here a couple of months. I got to go get my stuff and sell my condo in Michigan. I haven't, but I'm going to. But I haven't been home since, I don't know, almost 3 months, I think. Hey, Dolly. So, things change. I mean, I say that all the time. If you'd have told me I'd have been here in Georgia a year ago, I wouldn't have believed it. And it's just like, although I did have a heads up, I knew that when I went to Detroit last time, that was probably going to be my last time there. And really, I didn't even feel like going then, but I wanted to get rid of that stuff, hand out what I could to get to disperse with Tiffany. And because I knew the likelihood of me getting back there again would be zero. And honestly, I had some of that stuff for almost 2 years. So that's why, unfortunately, I ended up giving away some stuff to people when it should have went to somebody else. But I will say this, I did do my due diligence with regard to trying to track these people down through Facebook, calling the numbers, the emails I had. So I didn't just hope they contacted me, and if they didn't, gave it to someone else. I did what I could. And I mean, Mary knows this. People know what I did to try to find these people. Announce that I was going to be down there. And then when I didn't find them, I gave the stuff to somebody else. So it wasn't like I took it all and threw it in a dumpster. Yeah, I would like to do I do like doing the interviews and stuff, but honestly, what I know now, there just seems to be something disingenuous by going up to a young, drug-addicted prostitute, getting an interview and uploading it, when I know, based on my experience, that she's probably not going to get any better. I mean, what's the sense of it all? Other than to have people watch it on YouTube. It's like, oh yeah, that's sad, that's terrible, it's too bad she's there, what can I do? I've been down that road, and what you can do is really nothing, which is what I've learned. I'm not saying there isn't an example here and there where you can really do some good, but minus a crystal ball, I'm just as helpless as you are. So the idea of seeking out what kind of put me on the map with YouTube and doing it again with the knowledge I have now, it just seems like fraud. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I still would like to do it. I just don't know that it's a moral thing to do to upload it to YouTube. Unless somebody's got some idea out there of, in the old days, like I used to promote their channel, Sharon, Maddie and Gerald, Jesse, a bunch of people, Angie. Angie's finally admitting now that the $500 I gave her so she didn't need to sell her camera equipment was used for drugs. A year later, and she wants to apologize. You know what? No thanks. If we get in an argument about I make a comment that you need to lose some weight, you get offended, I'll accept an apology, or I'll offer an apology for that. But when you start doing stuff like that and pinning every crazy behavior you have on being a drug addict, I don't buy it. I know plenty of drug addicts and alcoholics that are still good people. So you're not apologizing out of doing something that egregious with me. It's worth $500 not to have anything to do with her anymore. That's the way I look at it. And she's been told that if you really feel that bad about it, get the $500 that I gave you that you lied about and send it to Tiffany H so she can go out and hand it out to people or buy food and something. She's got a much better idea of what they can get that they're not going to throw away or sell than I do. But if it really bothers you that bad, send her the $500 and let her put it to good use, whether it's Band-Aids or tampons or peroxide or whatever the hell else it is they need. Yeah, contribute to recovery, whatever. Give it to whatever you want. But I told the person that contacted me, now this will shut Angie up for good because she wants to apologize, but you'll never see the $500 from this scammer. And if you've looked on her channel lately, which I did today, you'll see how she's titled the videos against Maddie. Now, here was a person whose channel started to promote drug addicts being decent people that needed a helping hand, and that's how I got to know her. So either she was lying then or she's lying now. You couldn't have been a good person then and really cared about these people from what you're doing now. So one of them is total bullshit. But like I said, with all these people, I'm just happy that I don't have anything to do with them. I don't read their emails. I block them on my phone. I do everything I can. And it's worth $500 never to talk to her again. She's bad news. But anybody, particularly somebody that suffered from addiction themselves, that would title their videos like that and make 80% of your content about someone's looks and their drug addiction is a dirtbag. No, it's not, APUG, it's not. Yeah, well, I think everybody realizes how Maddie's doing right now. It's pretty obvious. Becky's last status was, good. I'd interviewed her the last time I went to Detroit. She got evicted here about a month ago, 5 weeks ago. There's an older guy I know that you probably knew that I'd interviewed one time that Becky had a friendship with Gary. Super good guy. Gary is a good guy. And they were getting evicted, and I haven't talked to Gary since. I haven't talked to Becky, and I don't know what they're up to. I mean, as I said earlier, I checked her Facebook and just cringed when I did, because the last thing I want to see is some reference to the Michigan Avenue stroll. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that. I mean, you want to go inside, huh? You want to go inside? I don't know what to tell you on that. I wish the best for her. You want to go in, Betty? Go on. Go on. Go, Betty. Excuse me. Go on. Go, Betty. Go on. Here, go, Betty. Go on. Go on, Betty. Yeah, I don't know what she's doing. I'm sure it's not good. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I almost don't want to know, because the likelihood of me in here, I'm not going to get a phone call one day and say, you know what, Becky's working full time. She's living in an apartment. She's off heroin. So that's why I say this over and over again. No news is good news. And in a bigger way than it is with most people that I've crossed paths with. I'm not hearing that they're killed or got hit by a car. No news is good news. So, and I know if something really bad happened, I would hear from Gary. Yeah. Yeah, I saw what these people go through. I know what I'm like, and I think if I had ever been in the throes of addiction like these girls, I don't think I'd ever got out of it, to tell you the truth. I mean, there gets to be a point where your life is so in the tank. You've got a criminal record. You've got hepatitis C. You may be HIV positive. You got herpes, simplex 1 and 2. You got all sorts of rotten teeth, kidney problems, bladder issues, other infections. It's just so much easier to just like change and like, you know, another thing too is like Katie was in the interview that I did, and even with Becky, they don't want what most people want in life. The idea of being a housewife in a suburb just doesn't interest them. Never did. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of things you can do other than what they're doing. But when you look at it from their way, I mean, getting out of there is like so hard. Huge daily struggle. You're right, Flower Fairy. Yeah, Southwest was very nice. Yeah. Yeah, they had the Baker Act, but that's a pretty short time they can lock you up for that. You know? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a choice, but I mean, I don't think anybody, I shouldn't say anybody, but I don't think the majority of the people really understand how shitty their life's going to get when they try heroin for the first time. I mean, none of the girls ever thought they'd be prostitutes. Yeah, gave up hope. Yeah, who are you talking about, Flower Fairy? Like, who are you talking about? No, it doesn't, Rita. Yeah. I mean, but really, you know, and I think of this sometimes too, which is crazy. And that is that if you're going to go down there and you're going to be someone they can count on, you're trying to help them, what pitch are you going to give them about getting clean? I mean, you know, the world's in a lot of ways not good. Tassie, not really. Nope. No, she's not doing too good, I don't think. Tassie, man. Daisy, shut up. She's going to wake Marty up. She doesn't want to be in, doesn't want to be out. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's addiction. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get in the throes of addiction much worse than she is. I mean, I don't think entitled is the proper way of describing it. I think she's using an angle to try and get what she needs to get drugs. And it may come across as that, but Maddie knows her lot in life right now, and I'm sure her self-esteem is at an all-time low. Yeah, no, Tassie kind of fell off the wagon. I haven't had like updated information in probably a month or so, so I really don't know, but I know she wasn't doing good like a month, 6 weeks ago, you know? Yeah, I can't really tell you anybody other than Amanda, you know, the one that was with Jason seems to be doing them. That's about it, and I had nothing to do with that. So, yeah. And here's the thing, too, with Maddie, you know, for the people, you know, if Maddie got clean tomorrow and 2 months from now came out of rehab and got her teeth fixed and was working a full-time job, nobody give a shit. There are so many ill-mannered, rude people that just hope the worst for Maddie. I would venture to say that that's the majority of the people that watch that channel. You can just tell by the comments. They love where Manny's at right now. They get to go in every night, make some shitty, rotten comment about what she looks like, or talk out of their ass with regard to her kids and where they went and what kind of life they're living. a big majority attention they get is, first of all, Maddie's a nice person, but is really just to see someone suffering like that and being able to harass, stalk, and denigrate them on any kind of chat someone's willing to sign you up to. It's not good. You know, you could count the people on two hands that really have Maddie's best interests at heart, and those aren't people making comments on the chat. It isn't like what it seems. Maddie's kind of like a freak show. Everybody wants to hear themselves talk about what she needs to do, and they don't have any idea what it's like to be down there or any idea what the relationship was with her family. It isn't good people involved in that channel. It's crappy, shitty people that really don't have her best interests at heart. Internet trolls, yeah. Yeah, it's probably true, Conan. Yeah, Gerald really has, to me, Gerald's really aged as well lately. Yeah, he has. Yep. Oh, big time humanity. Yeah, the world is nuts, man. You know? Life is a struggle. It is. But, I mean, that's a struggle like, that's like supercharged. Being a drug addicted prostitute. My God, man. Honestly, I can't think of anything worse. You know, my buddy says all the time, the guy that I'm living with down here, that there are things worse than death. And every time he says that, you know, we'll be having a conversation about something. I think to myself, yeah, there sure are. Let me give you an example. Being a drug addicted prostitute in Detroit, that's worse than death. It is. To me, I think it's worse than death. Now, I could never get myself to say that someone's in a better place because they're dead. I just can't say that, like in Raven's case. But boy, there's certainly some logic to it. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my God, man. You know, it's just, you're with these damn, you know, and this isn't like normal sex, you know, with guys. I mean, I'm not saying normal sex never happens, but you got a lot of weirdos out there. Fetish bullshit, beating them up, slapping them around. And they've learned, especially these guys that get off beating up girls, they've learned that that you got a pretty good chance of beating up a prostitute, throwing her out of the car, and nothing ever coming of it. You know, they prepare for it. They hide their plate. They go and they know where to go, that kind of thing. And the cops aren't going to put any effort into it anyway. So it isn't like you're a high-end escort. I'm not saying that's the way to go, but it's a different lifestyle. So they're going through this bullshit all the time. If you go back and listen to some of these interviews, you'll see where, or you'll hear where, you know, they describe some of the interactions with these sickos. You know, just treat them bad, beat them up, talk down to them. And that's a daily activity in between the struggle of looking for their fix. It's terrible. Yeah. Hey, Mama, how you doing? And like I said, I mean, you know, I'm hard pressed to like, you just sound like you're naive and like Opie on the TV show when you go down there and tell them that they could live in a suburb and be a soccer mom and drive a van and have a nice husband. I mean, this just sounds like Mr. Rogers talking to them. And like I said, they don't really want that. They don't want what they're in, but they don't really want what most people try and pitch them on as being a successful life. You know, it's different for everybody. You think a clean bed and a nice apartment and a decent job would do it? It doesn't. And this comes up a lot of times too. People say, and some people agree with it, some people don't, that these women, and the men too, are never going to have that feeling like they had with that high they got when they were on drugs. Nothing is ever going to compare to that. Nothing is ever going to be as good. A high-paying job, $1 million house, a brand new car, a happy marriage. And if that's true, and I tend to think there's an element of truth to that, and they know that in their heart of hearts, and they've been to rehab, and they've relapsed, and they've been back on the street, you can understand why rehab isn't particularly interested to them. Because what you're offering them is better, is an opinion. Hey, Bimbo, how you doing? Yeah, it's super low odds. That's exactly right. And, all you got to do is scan the internet or read articles or books, and you see that the recidivism rate is so high and that people that relapse, this and that. Yeah, I know. So if rehab offered what everybody'd like it to do, why is the recidivism rate so high? Like I said, nothing's as ever good as it was chasing that feeling they got from the drugs. And that's hard to replace. Yeah. Hey, Bimbo, you feeling better? Yeah, probably right, Cruising topless. Yeah, you're probably right. Like I said, I'm the last guy to ask. You couldn't ask. You couldn't have a worse track record of thinking they were helping somebody in the world that I have. I do. Oh, good, Brenda. Yeah, glad you're on. Shit, man. I look back on that. I didn't, I know people say nice things like Simpkin. They remember being kind. Yeah, okay. But I don't really consider that like some big, great act of kindness. Shit. If I'd have known them what I know now, I probably wouldn't have interviewed anybody. Realized how futile it was. Hey, Drifter. Yeah, you're right about that, Aletha. Yeah, that's true. Aftercare after rehab. And I don't know that much. I just know about, rehabs that are out there that people that gone it. And it just kind of strikes me. And I don't have anything to hang my hat on, just enough of the people that I know that have gone to them. There's a difference between Brad Pitt going to rehab and some working girl from Southwest Detroit. And, even those country club rehabs they go, there's still a lot of relapsing. So again, it's chasing that. But when you're going to these court-ordered rehabs, and a lot of the ones that the girls went through that I interviewed, I just kind of think you might be getting what you paid for. And like Aletha said, you get out of rehab, all your friends were on the street in that kind of job, that kind of thing. And you go back to there, and before you know it, you're doing drugs again. Sherry's doing great. Working full-time, living in an apartment. Sherry's doing well. I didn't have anything to do with that either. But Sherry is a good example of success. She found the Lord and is living the Christian lifestyle, and it's worked for her. Yeah. Yeah, they're nice. Dearborn, yeah. No, I believe that, Sepka. Yeah, I believe that. God, 18 months you go and you get out and you still do it. And that's pretty much what people tell me when they fail at it. You don't, especially, like, really, it's the devil, heroin, for sure. I would agree with that. It's the devil. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that here lately. I would agree with you on Maddie, but here's the thing. Anybody that doesn't like what's going on Maddie's channel, they don't need to click on it. If they don't like the idea of people donating money to her, I still say it's better than her getting in cars with strangers. If all these people have such a problem with what Maddie's getting for others, why the hell don't they just stay out of it? Don't comment on her channel. Don't go to her channel. It's Maddie's channel. It's a private channel. No one is coming in anybody's house and forcing them to click on her live and watch it. Things that I don't like, I stay the hell away from it. People that I don't want a channel, I block them. People that I don't want to hear from, I block their number, block their email, don't return their phone calls, delete their voice messages. I stay away from it. If people have this kind of problem with Maddie and Gerald, just leave them alone like normal people would. Don't go there. It's not anybody's business. Yeah, it's not anybody's business. You don't need to go there. But there's 4 or 5 different types of personalities. The people that pretend to want to help Maddie, the people that want to pretend to help Maddie but sign on with different screen names and talk back with her, the people out there that just want to stalk Maddie, the people out there that want to build a channel based on Maddie's addiction and what she looks like, and the people out there that really don't know what to do but they get off on this Jerry Springer kind of like talk show mentality of constant drama and trouble. So there's a lot of reasons why people tune into Maddie's channel. And like I said earlier, most of them aren't in Maddie's best interest. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who's trying to do the right thing and who isn't. Oh, good, Conan. That's great. Yeah, mods are doing a good job. Thank you. No, I don't watch the Kardashians either. I don't get that at all. But I mean, it is a reality show, but I don't think that with a normal person would give them to just read the comments on there. You know, this isn't a reality show about let's band together and see if we can do something positive for Maddie. I agree. It's a dysfunctional, fucked up mess. You got a drug addict that needs drugs, that needs money to pay for the drugs. It's as simple as that. Whether she was sucking dicks or begging for money on YouTube or saying that she's getting a job when she didn't, it all comes down to the same thing. Funding a terrible, ruthless habit. That's what it comes down to. And I don't think there's anybody on this chat that wouldn't agree with, would you rather hoodwink people into sending you money through YouTube or go out and suck a bunch of dicks? I mean, it's a no-brainer. If anything, like the guy said earlier, he gives Maddie credit for running a hustle on YouTube because at least it's logical, and we all know that she needs to fund this terrible habit one way or the other. Marguerite, well, you know, that area, they're building that big new Gordie Howe International Bridge, which kind of, I don't want to say ruin the area, change the area. And there's no activity. You're not going to get any Johns, no panhandling. The party store closed down. I was told Marguerite moved with the guy closer to downtown in an abandoned house someplace. That's all I know. I even contacted Marguerite's daughter, who doesn't know where she's at. So what Marguerite's up to, I don't know. You're right, Drifter. Yeah, people know what they're giving to them. That's exactly right, Simca. Yeah, that's true, Rhea. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yep, I would agree. And mind you, I mean, if Maddie came on there and said, hey, look, you guys know what I'm up to. I need this money to fund this bad habit. Are you going to still send money? So, I mean, I hope nobody out there is this naive. I mean, it is a hoodwink, but it's to be expected. I mean, drug addicts have ripped off all their relatives and friends and stole from their employers. This shouldn't be any surprise to anybody. Anybody that comes on and says, well, you know what, Maddie's, telling lies to get money on YouTube. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, Maddie and everybody else on heroin in Detroit that doesn't have a job, that doesn't want to get into a car with a stranger. Yeah, that's the way it works. Yeah, they did. You're right, Gary. Yeah, no, it sucks, man. Believe me. I mean, how would you like to be her? Can you imagine just, I would love to know what Maddie thinks every night when she's trying to fall off to sleep. No heat, no water. Just, scrounging up enough money for a fix every day. I mean, what goes through your mind? Yep, addicts do what addicts do. That's the truth. They sure do. Yeah. It sucks, man. It's a terrible life. But I don't think the answer and the solution is, talking bad about them or downing them or, that doesn't get anybody anywhere. I mean, how can you take a person, do you do the same thing that people out there? I know there's some of these stalkers watching this channel right now. Do you do the same thing with a diabetic or somebody on dialysis or an alcoholic? Well, why would you do it with Maddie? Yeah, but the likelihood of that fatal fix thing, I don't really buy that, to be honest with you. I used to think that way. But, if I know somebody and they're an active addict, I mean, I'm not calling bullshit on you, but I call bullshit on that fatal dose. That could be any day for any reason. And you don't know that. And like I said, minus a crystal ball, nobody would want to be responsible for that. But like I said all along, these women were heroin addicts way before I met them. They're heroin addicts now, and they're going to be heroin addicts even though I don't talk to them anymore. So if the likelihood would have came from a $10 innocent donation, the whole key here is the intent of the donation. If I give somebody $10 because I want them to have a ham sandwich, a bag of chips, and a Diet Pop, and I found out they OD'd that night, I'm going to sleep like a fucking baby. Because I gave them $10. They're spending $200 or $300 every day for the last 10 years on heroin. And somebody's going to say, hey, Tom, you know what? That $10 you gave them, that was their overdose fix. Like, fuck you. It doesn't really work that way. It could happen, yeah, but it's such a minute, ridiculous, small chance of happening that these people that bring this up as an argument as to why the money given to them could potentially cause their death, I call bullshit on. Yeah, that's another thing too. I mean, that's the other side of it. I mean, I know if you ever see somebody dope sick and you know anything about it, that is one tough pill to swallow. But if you understand it and you're not caught up into the sensationalism of a YouTube channel and you understand what dope sick is, you can understand why somebody would provide $10 with the hope, because you don't want to see these people feeling that bad. It's just a vicious, crappy cycle, which is why it's named the devil. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think too. That's what I think too. I didn't give the money, and it's not like I said, like, here you go, Becky. Here you go, Maddie. Here's 10 grand. Good luck. Have a good time. No, I mean that would just be crazy. But $10, $5, nah, that wouldn't bother me at all, because the likelihood of being that unlucky, and besides, the $10 wasn't given for dope. It was given for lunch. I know it gets used for dope sometimes, but it wouldn't bother me a bit. It'd be unfortunate if she died that way, but you're never gonna get me to feel bad on $10 I gave someone for a lunch, telling me they died because they bought heroin with it instead. I call bullshit on that. Oh, really? Hey, Pug. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, so I mean, these are the things. But now you guys, you wonder why I'm not in Detroit doing interviews. I hope I've explained it. I mean, unless you're like brain dead, which I'm not saying I'm that far from that. But it just got to where it's like, and then all the YouTube attention, which I never really wanted to begin with. It was just got to where it wasn't fun anymore, and these people were dying, and nobody was getting better, and I was getting stalked, and it was getting dangerous, and I just thought, fuck it. This isn't fun anymore. I used to love doing this, and now I hate doing it. Oh, thank you, Brenda. No, I believe that. I believe that, Cruising Topless, yeah. No, you've probably read about this. There's some really good books on it called The Gate Control Theory of Pain. Pain is very subjective. It's very interesting. Cruising Topless, there's a guy, Dr. Daniel Claw, C-L-A-U-W. He's a University of Michigan professor. You can look him up on YouTube. And he's a pain expert. He's out of the University of Michigan. But he's got some very interesting talks on pain you may find interesting. I haven't watched his video in 2 or 3 years, and he may have some different ones up here. Dr. Daniel Claw, C-L-A-U-W. But I even went to a lecture one time on pain from him. Oh, thank you, Gary. Yeah, it's super depressing, Amy. It sure is. Hey, Katrina. Yeah, I mean, I can't think anything worse. Being down there, drug addict, prostitute. Anybody out there, I mean, married, in relationships. It's hard enough having sex sometimes with people that you got a relationship with when they don't have any diseases and you just don't feel like it. Can you imagine doing that for your source of income with 8 or 10 pigs a day that 5 of them that want to beat you up when you're done? And it isn't like you're getting rich. For a while down there, and I'm not going to tell you who, but a lot of the girls, the ones that I've interviewed, you could get blowjobs down there for $10. I mean, $10, that's it. And if you look at $100 or $200 a day heroin addiction, well, you can imagine. Now, can you imagine doing that? Now, fast forward that for a year or two. It doesn't get any more disgusting than that. Lowering your self-esteem. Yeah, it's very interesting. Cruising topless, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, not everywhere, Gary. You can in good locations in good cities. And I'm not saying nobody in Detroit ever made it, but usually it was around 40. Yeah, can you imagine that, Emily? Yeah, I know. That's the thing. So, I mean, these aren't things I talk about a lot, but when I say it's there are things worse than death, that's a pretty good damn example. Oh, there you go, Hi Pug. Yeah, I know that sounds good. That's been tried already, Conan, with her parents. They've tried that. Before you know it, you're on the verge of losing your job because you're spending all your time chasing your daughter. And then you go to the police station and they say, hey, she's an adult. It's her choice to be out here and you can't do shit. I know, it sucks. The only control you have is when they're underage. And then you can get court orders and get them locked up and do all those kind of things. But once these people are of adult age, you're screwed. Yeah, well, I've come close to that a couple times, Rita. Suicide ideation. It's not easy to off yourself. It's not. No, it's 10 pigs. No, yeah, you're right about that, cruising topless. God, I can't imagine that, man. And it isn't like, sex that you're interested. It's like, this is like the worst scenario. You're married 30 years, you don't want to have sex. It's like that times 300. I think Daisy's driving Marty nuts again. Oh, that's all right, Carolyn. That's a good habit. Hey, Penny, how you doing? Yeah. So, I mean, it's bad. That's all I can say. I mean, who doesn't know that, though? And that's the thing. It's like, for a while there, when I was first doing these interviews, like people would get a hold of me. It's like, hey, it's really nice that you're doing these interviews. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, what do you like about them? It's like, well, you're bringing awareness. And they were being nice, and they were trying to give me a nice compliment. But I'm thinking to myself, who in the hell doesn't know about drug-addicted prostitutes being all over the place? Bringing awareness to who? I mean, is there anybody that doesn't know about this? Yeah, it's a nightmare. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right here lately. I would agree with you. No, they're not stupid. Nope. Well, we used to have that May that used to come on here. She was a transsexual, and she said the smartest women have the least amount of sex. They're always running some kind of I don't want to say trickery, but... And some of these women that I talked to got to know down there, some of these guys, believe it or not, just wanted to hold hands and stuff like that. That's pretty sad. But it was kind of cute in a way. You're paying some prostitute, not having sex with her, to go sit out in the park and hold hands. I kind of felt sorry for both of them. But I could live with that. Yeah, you're too aware. It's probably true. Yeah, you're right that about cruising topless, yeah. No, right, dominatrix don't have sex either. Yep, that's true. Just slap them around, handcuff them. I never understood that either, thank God. I mean, it's hard enough finding someone you're attracted to that you're going to have sex with, let alone throwing in that monkey wrench. I mean, how do you get around to saying, hey, what do you do after the third date and you force yourself through normal sex one time? How do you bring that up? What do you say? Hey, look, I got something I think you need to know. It's like, oh, here we go. I've been online dating. Nothing shocks me. Go ahead, tell me. It's like, well, I like to get beaten. I want to get whipped and stuff. And, I've been doing this just to please you. It's new. I'll do anything at the beginning. But I think if I fast forwarded and I was in this relationship with you a year from now, if it's not a pair of handcuffs and a good beating once a week, I don't think our relationship's going to make it. I mean, how the hell do you broach this subject? Jesus Christ, man. I mean, it's hard enough, just normal sex. Rita, you got any suggestions on this? Mary? It just goes to show you, man, that, and for the same reasons on the people that want to jerk these girls out of being active prostitutes and turn them into housewives, it's the same thing with the dominatrix sex. People think different ways. You tend to be subjective and you want to bring them into your life because you're happier than they are. That doesn't work that great. No, he wouldn't. Choke me, please. Yeah, it's got to come to that once in a while. My guess would be is that they meet on clubs and chat boards and shit like that. So you got the hardest part knocked out just by virtue of being on a dominatrix chat board. You know what I mean? You got the hard part done. You're not going to Match.com looking for a good butt whipping on the first date. Oh yeah, yeah, holding hands. Yeah, my dad used to tell me if I was normal, he was glad that he wasn't. Yeah, different strokes. I remember watching an Oprah show one time, a long time ago. These guys on the down low. These are guys like with wives that are going out having sex with men. I mean, whatever happened to just good old-fashioned bisexuality? Yeah, dominatrix, fetish sites. Yeah, I'm sure if you're into that kind of stuff, that's where you go to date, because other than that, you'd spend your whole life just blowing a bunch of money only to hit them with the punchline and them telling you they don't think they'd be going out with you again. What a nightmare. Fetish sites, yeah. On the down low, yeah. Well, I will do some new interviews, but I think they're going to be different unless something comes up that I don't know about. You know? You could have, Rita. I think you'd have been good at that dominatrix. Really, I think you got the natural God-given ability to crack that whip, slap on those handcuffs. I think where you'd really get your high tips is that halfway through, when they were just getting too big of a beating, you'd say, that's not what you signed up for. There's 30 more minutes left. That's where you'd really excel. Yeah, but Eva, why are you going over there if you don't like the way Maddie treats people? I mean, why is this an issue with you? Just don't click on her channel and watch it. Why do you care what Maddie does with the third party? Yeah, I did too, Emily, yeah. You know? Yeah. I mean, there's people out there that aren't heroin addicts that treat people like shit. I don't know what's unique about Maddie. You know, she gets 2 hours sleep a night, hasn't had a shower or a bath in a week. And you're wondering why she's grumpy. Right on, Rita. Yeah, well, that's another role. I hope she does too, Penny. I do. I hope she does too. I really like Tassie. Yeah. Yeah, I just, it's complex. I mean, but at least like Penny's got, normal good intentions. You don't see comments like that on Maddie's chats. It's all making fun of her looks or accusing her. Yeah, never lose hope, right? It's not over till it's over. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Simka. Yeah. Words of wisdom, man. I would agree with that. Yep. It sucks, but I get a sick feeling when I look on Maddie's chats. Oh, good, Penny. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, man. Yeah. Rita, is that what's going to be on your dominatrix sign? Is that your famous quote? As long as there is breath, there is hope. Dominatrix Rita. No, yeah, you're right, Simka. Yeah. This guy down here, I'm building a house, and, you guys know I'm down here living on this couple hundred acres, and we keep talking about just fencing it off and just living here and not going anywhere. I mean, you shouldn't feel that way in, like, America, but I'm telling you, man, things are going to hell in a handbasket. No jobs, houses are selling for more than they're listed for. Goddamn cars, 60 grand a year. Everything's super expensive. It's not like fun and like it was. You know? I'll bet you right now, if you were down on the stroll and you drove down there, you'd drive around for an hour and not see one girl out in the street. It's just not how it used to be. Yeah, there you go. Cruising topless. Sounds like you know Rita. Good night, Caroline. You have a good day. You think you could handle that lifestyle, Conan? Think you could do it? I mean, I don't think I could do it, really. I like the idea of it, but I don't think the reality of it, I just don't think it's realistic. I mean, I had a chance to go to Chicago in about a week, and I hadn't been back there since I left. It's like, no way. You can have it. I hope I never go back there again. Yeah. Do you really, Conan? Wow. Like, I'm going to build this place down here, and I think to myself, like, I got a good idea. This is the end of the road for me. Probably got another 10 years, maybe more, maybe less. But I think to myself sometimes, could I have someone down here living with me? I don't think I could. It just speaks to my craziness. I just think I couldn't stand somebody around all that time. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Well, they don't really have any new casinos down there. They've got, a couple in Detroit. It was 10 miles probably. But I was told, I know girls that worked as escorts in the casinos. You're not going to, I think it's a different type clientele. Yeah, where I'm living now, no snow. So I just, I mean, you never know, I guess, but I doubt it. Oh, did you, Penny? Yeah, I mean, I'll let people can come visit me. That's no problem. But I really think that people would go crazy down here. Swear to God, there's no place to even take you. Yeah, Tonka toys are a good time. Yeah, they really are. Yeah, I have a good time, man. Yeah, about three. Yeah, I think they might get a dusting sometimes. I really, if the winters were been like they'd been when I was a kid growing up, I'd have probably stayed in Michigan. I really loved a good snowstorm and, driving around in and stuff. But the winters, the whole time I lived up there, were nothing, man. They're nothing compared to the old days. When you've got people in the lower peninsula driving to the upper peninsula that already live 200 miles north of Detroit so they can use their snowmobiles. I mean, that's crazy. Why? Because there wasn't that much snow. You think so? You think so? I'll have that pretty soon. But I mean, there's something, happiness is a moving target. There's something to be said to, I'll let you know. Yeah, I don't like the chat. I don't like drowning. Yeah, it's both here. Yeah, it's it here lately. You coined it. That's exactly right. Yeah, you're very observant. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing about my brain that doesn't really work. I don't really never really cared if people cared for me. Isn't that weird? Even when I'm sick and stuff like that. That's crazy, isn't it? Oh, thank you, Bimbo. Appreciate it. Yeah, looking for the next best thing. You got that right. So we got a little like overcast. See those clouds floating to the top? Happiness is a moving target. Sure is. Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd do that, but there's a lot of interesting people around here to interview. There really are. Yeah, be content. Yeah, I've always struggled with that, that's for sure. Yeah, thank you, Hey Pug. Yeah, that's exactly right. Desperate times call for desperate measures. So true. Yeah. Yeah, I'll come down. I'll be getting down there one of these days. I'll take you to Burns Steakhouse. Get you a good steak dinner. I haven't been down to Tampa. I can't even tell you. Well, I was there maybe 13 years ago or so. Yeah, it's really true, Well, I think I'm going to go inside and take a shower, you guys. I got to take Daisy to get her stitches out tomorrow. So I hope you guys have a good night tonight. Appreciate the people I haven't seen on here before coming on talking. Thank you. If anybody has any ideas on any future chats, subject matter, I'm all ears, believe me. I've already come on with about my 5th night of cicadas making noise with their legs. Yeah, it is, Aletha. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Bug Symphony. Good night, Penny. Aletha, yeah. Cruising Topless. Bimbo. Hey, Pug. Delbert. Emily. Simca. You go nighty-night. Mary. Frederick, if you're out there lurking around. Lisa, you have a good night tonight. Thanks, Delbert, for coming on. It was a good chat. Bye, Hey Pug. See you here lately. Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was fun to see new people. I agree. Yep, that's right. Yep. Good night, Conan. All right, Mary. Yep, you have a good night. Anybody else I missed? Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. Thank you, Cruising Topless. Good night, Mary. You have a good day tomorrow. Hope you have a good day.